When Allied troops first entered Bizerta, the main body of German troops had already evacuated the town. British and American infantry went through the streets in stealthy files with arms at the ready. A few snipers in cellars, on roofs and at windows were the sole occupants of a deserted and methodically cleaned out town. The civilian population was gone. Bizerta was a place of scurrying figures and silent except for the occasional crack and whine of bullets. In the main part of the town, hardly a building is left intact. Terrific bombing by British and American aircraft had reduced Bizerta and the airport at Sidi Ahmed to a heap of ruins. Burnt-out hangars and bomb-pitted runways. Among the wrecked aircraft littering the drome was this big transport plane, which had crash-landed against a railway embankment. And the harbour, with its sunken ships, bore equal testimony to the aerial tempest which had swept over and sealed another exit of escape. Light naval units were soon in occupation. The British Navy had a considerable share in this victory. It immediately set about the task of reconditioning the harbour. Seaborne supplies began to come in. Landing barges and vessels with shallow draft enter the harbour. The bed is strewn with sunken Axis supply ships. The docks and wharves are shambles. Bombing has flattened the quayside and landing barges make the approach from the sea. Bizerta starts exporting. Battered and bewildered Axis captives, many of whom had a busy day trying to find someone who has the time to take them prisoner. Their guards are French soldiers, men who have shared valiantly in the North African fighting and who now relish this utter humiliation of the Nazis. In the Tunisian collapse, 26 German and Italian generals were captured. Here are some of the high priests of Prussianism assembling at an airport for deportation to England. On the field of battle, the Allied armies whipped them all soundly, and now the RAF puts them to bed. There's Cramer and Vaerst, Lohmeier and Krause, and Uncle Tom Cobley and all. The first plane load of Nazis descends on Britain. The flying Black Maria is from Gibraltar, bringing the first assortment of Axis generals from North Africa. How different to how they dreamed they would set foot in Britain. There's von Glasow and Neuffer and numerous others, all very formal and not a Nazi salute among them. And now let's clap eyes on Von Arnim. The ex-leader of the Afrika Corps, wearing a Hitler-type leather coat, has been brought secretly to Britain and with his other generals placed in internment. General Cramer was his traveling companion. Arnim occupied a position similar to Paulus at Stalingrad. An arch-hater of Britain, he was captured by a British armoured unit on the Cape Bon Peninsula. His destination now is a prisoner of war camp where General Von Arnim, Rommel's one-time second-in-command, awaits him. The camp is surrounded by a high barbed wire fence, but otherwise a pleasant place to serve a sentence. Think what a time the Germans and Italians will have swapping tales about how they beat Montgomery and Alexander. In this car is the Italian commander-in-chief himself, Marshal Messe, who took over in the hour of defeat. The little Italian's traveling days are over. Giovanni Messe is going into retirement. He it was who refused to surrender to anyone but his old opponent, the 8th Army. His request was acceded to, and he capitulated to the New Zealand C&C, General Freyberg. So General Messe, Von Arnim, Cramer and company are nicely stowed away in a place where they don't sell hacksaw blades.